There are only two endings in Night City: die a legend or vanish into the trash heap. This is the story of how CDPR saved Cyberpunk 2077 and hit the big leagues. Cyberpunk 2077 is a 2020 role-playing game from Polish developer Projekt Red and is based on the dystopian tabletop role-playing game written by Mike Pondsmith. You'll play as V, a mercenary trying to make her way in Night City and survive certain death after the heist of a lifetime goes so spectacularly bad she ends up with a bullet in the head in the city dump. And yes, I'm using she/her pronouns for V in this because I play a female V, but you can also play as a male V. Her quest for answers will take her on a journey through the depths of Night City, discovering how deep the corporate rot spreads, who she can and can't trust, and even what it means to be alive in a transhumanist hellscape where reality is optional and your body has a Wi-Fi connection. When Cyberpunk launched in 2020, it immediately became one of the most infamous AAA game releases ever. Having been announced somewhere in 2012 with a slick, intriguing trailer, the game had been in development for 8 years and had been generating excitement and hype ever since it was given a release date. At the 2018 E3 conference, CDPR showed off an eye-wateringly beautiful gameplay trailer, showing a densely populated Night City, V engaging in a little casual murder, and some of the driving mechanics. It looked spectacular. The game was slated to come out in early 2020, in that kind of dead part of the year where a big AAA game would have the room to be the only big release of the quarter. Then the world sorta ended. The COVID-19 pandemic caused a raft of delays across all forms of media as the world adjusted to the unprecedented global lockdowns and the sudden need for social isolation. The game was delayed to the summer, then the autumn, then once more, finally releasing in winter of 2020. And holy shit, was it busted as fuck. Cyberpunk on launch was, frankly, atrocious. The game was clearly not finished, filled with bugs, broken quests, game-breaking faults, and so much more. Night City was utterly empty, the game looked ugly, and if you were playing on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, then you would experience frame rates you could count on one hand. The backlash was immediate and vicious. CDPR had spent 8 years making this unoptimized, compromised, broken mess, and they had the nerve to release it in such a state?
This is fucking wrong! What the fuck is going on?
It was such a disaster that Sony delisted the game entirely, a rare and brutal move, and began issuing refunds en masse. As time progressed, leaks from inside the studio indicated that the developers knew it wasn't ready, it hadn't been tested enough, and there were huge queues of bugs to be resolved. But as is the way of the world, the shareholders wanted money and the game needed to be released. Not because it was ready, but because CD Projekt, the corporate arm of the business, demanded it. The irony of that statement is delicious. Ultimately though, it was the developers and producers of the game that bore the brunt of fan frustrations. Devs endured horrific online abuse and even threats against them. The studio promised fixes and were open and honest with a timeline to get the game to work as intended, which all but confirmed the game was pushed out of the door unfinished. But to CDPR's credit, they took on the challenge and got to work, beavering away diligently in the neon-drenched shadows to fix the game. Slowly over 2021, patches started coming out, fixing the worst issues, implementing missing features, and refining the experience. The next-gen patch came out, allowing those who had secured PS5s and Xbox Series consoles to experience the game in higher fidelity with higher frame rates. Like V from that city dump, Cyberpunk began to rise again. In 2023, it was announced that CDPR had been working on an expansion to the game titled Phantom Liberty, and it would arrive alongside the 2.0 patch. When this launched, we finally got what was promised all of those years ago. Beautiful graphics, intense gameplay, a progression tree that was legible, Idris Elba. It was everything the gaming community wanted and more. Phantom Liberty released to universal praise, elevating the game to almost legendary status. Cyberpunk 2077 had finally arrived. It had hit the big leagues. Phantom Liberty also brought a different tone to the game, where the main story was a desperate rush for V's survival amongst the rot and pain of Night City. Phantom Liberty was a story of espionage and political manoeuvring. V is pushed to unravel a deep state conspiracy that will have implications not just for Night City but for the whole NUSA, and it's fucking brilliant. Before we go any further, this video is brought to you by my patrons and channel members. After the last few videos, I hit the threshold to have channel members, and I've enabled 2 tiers on my Patreon. For £2 a month, you get early access to videos, access to my supporter Discord, and some extra behind the scenes good stuff. For £9 a month, you'll also get your name in the credits at the end of the video. This applies to both Patreon and YouTube channel members, so if you want to support me, then take your pick. You can also follow my Patreon for free, as I don't use social media that much, so if you want some behind the scenes ponderings on these videos, or just to keep an eye on my progress, head over to patreon.com/gadgetongaming and hit the join button. Alternatively, if you want a free way to support me, you can also give this video a like, or if you're a real chum, hit that subscribe button and be notified whenever I post a new video. Lastly, this is your spoiler warning. I'm going to be covering some of the main story of Cyberpunk 2077 and the entirety of Phantom Liberty, as well as bits and pieces of the background lore. This is a huge game, so I'm focusing on my most recent playthrough, but with knowledge from the other 2 runs that I've done. Halfway through V's quest for survival, right after she's made contact with Alt Cunningham beyond the virtual black wall in the net, is when we get to Dogtown. A mysterious netrunner identifying as Songbird will make contact and tell V that she can cure her of the ticking time bomb that is the relic hosting Johnny Silverhand in return for V's assistance. When V arrives at Dogtown, Songbird, or so me to her friends, takes control of the relic, muting Johnny and explaining the situation.
What the? It's like someone shoved my head in a vice.
You're gonna be okay. Breathe deep. Count to 10. Recite a mantra. Whatever brings calm. Helps you stabilize. Your nervous system took a big hit. Broke down. Racing heart, cold sweat. It'll pass.
Fuck you doing? This a trap?
Exact opposite. It's a helping hand.
Right.
I know about the bomb ticking in your head. If I could disarm it now, I would in a heartbeat. You'll feel better any second now.
V, something stinks here. Think she's fucking with the relic. How in the...
All true, Johnny. But don't you fret. They're both safe.
Nah, fuck
Both
off.
of us on the biochip protocol at once can trigger shocks for V, like you just saw now. Gotta cut you off.
What
For
the...
your safety, for V's safety.
She's broadcasting from Space Force 1, the President's private aircraft. They've been hacked and they are coming down, expected to land in Dogtown. The mission is simple: save the President, save the country, and so me will save V's life in return. No pressure. Like a vestigial organ, Dogtown sits off the edge of the Pacifica district of Night City. It's a walled-off combat zone that was initially part of the wealthy resort playground that Pacifica was intended to be. In the game's lore, the Unification War of 2070 raged across the continent as the NUSA attempted to reclaim all of the seceded free cities for the Union. Night City was the last one to resist reintegration with the country, and the battles for the city were bloody and brutal. During this conflict, a rogue NUSA colonel, Kurt Hansen, took control of the zone and refused to leave when the war ended and Night City remained independent. Instead of withdrawing, he became a de facto warlord, ruling his personal fiefdom with an iron fist. His paramilitary force, Barghest, are a brutal occupying army which he wields like a weapon, crushing dissent and uprisings with unrestrained violence. They make the NCPD and MaxTac look like traffic cops. Dogtown is self-sufficient from the rest of Night City. The nuclear reactor of a crashed cargo cruiser provides power for the zone, allowing Hansen to rule without having to deal with Arasaka or the Night City Council. Money flows into Dogtown via the trade of illegal arms, biomods and cyberware. The central marketplace in Longshore Stacks is a buzzing hub of murder tools that keep the town running. That's not to say that Dogtown is a pleasant place to live. There is a wider disparity between the wealthy residents and absolute poverty than in Night City proper. Most people live in dense shantytowns or slums, piecing together a meagre existence and reliant on airdropped aid, crime or drugs to get through the day. The promise of living freely in Dogtown is a lie. People come to Dogtown to escape their lives or to live like a king, but they end up on the bottom of the pile under the boot of Barghest and the wealthy elites who profit off their misery in ways that even Arasaka would think is a bit cruel. Those who make the money in Dogtown live in secured opulence. The entire town is centered around the Black Sapphire, the largest skyscraper in Dogtown, which Kurt Hansen has repurposed as the headquarters for Barghest and his personal playground. The building features barracks and infrastructure for his personal militia, as well as his own private zoo, nightclubs and restaurants where the elite come to rub shoulders, plot and pay fealty to Hansen. It's an impenetrable fortress and a shining star in Hansen's small empire. A lot of the area has simply not been rebuilt following the Unification War. Skyscrapers are left half completed after the corporations pulled out of the area. Even the Black Sapphire has huge parts of it that were never finished. Buildings and infrastructure are wrecked or left to rot, and as we saw earlier, the stadium has a fucking freight hauler just dropped into it. What a perfect place for a spaceplane to crash, eh? After V's brief introduction to Dogtown, Songbird directs her to one of the higher points in the area so she can see Space Force 1 come down and track where it lands. But as it comes down, Barghest fires surface-to-air missiles, striking the ship and sending it off course to slam into the ground completely out of control. Time to save the President as all hell breaks loose across the combat zone.
Songbird! V! The President! You have to...
Songbird! God damn it! Shit! Fuck me! Okay. Save the President. Sure. No fucking problem.
Songbird has bailed out of the plane before it hit the ground after bundling Songbird had bailed out of the plane before it hit the ground, but not before bundling President Rosalind Myers into the panic room at the back of the jet. Barghest are immediately on the pair and it's a fraught firefight to escape. V and Myers will be chased through broken and forgotten parts of Dogtown's underground, desperately improvising and moving to find a way to survive. Hansen is determined though, sending wave after wave of goons after them and even using a giant fucking battle tank to try and zero out V and Myers for good. Eventually though, the pair make their way to a ruined apartment building and set up a base of operations to work from. President Myers inducts V into the Federal Intelligence Agency in a battlefield promotion and gives her instructions to find a sleeper agent called Solomon Reed, who has been in deep cover in Dogtown for the last 7 years. We also start to get a bit of backstory from Johnny on his origins and find out that before he was a skyscraper bombing anarchist, he was actually in the NUSA military. From this point on, we're free to work through the story as we please, and I'm going to put this up front. I love the story of Phantom Liberty. Whereas the main campaign follows a sort of standard hero's journey for V as she goes from the trash heap to the top of the world, the story of Phantom Liberty is a darker, more subtle narrative that twists and turns as you try to unravel the conspiracy at the heart of the NUSA, find Songbird, and try to find a cure for V's Silverhand affliction. And it all starts with Solomon Reed. V finds Reed through some classic spycraft. There's an old analogue phone in an abandoned restaurant that's currently being used by gun smugglers as a drop-off site. Dialing the number that Myers gives us results in Reed giving V instructions on where to meet. Heading to the other side of Dogtown, V and Johnny have a heart-to-heart at a basketball court about his history with the military, only to be surprised by Reed approaching from behind.
Thought the same thing. Something nasty's brewing.
Fucking storm's what's brewing. Don't let the sunshine fool you. You're up against seasoned players, whereas you just stumbled onto the court. These are trained sociopaths. Pretend to be your friends while they fucking ain't. So go out and play. Just don't get played.
Just come out and say it. You don't trust Myers.
No, her type is all.
Politicians.
Worse, armed forces. Saying no to high-ranking cunts like putting your mouth over the barrel of their gun. Get shitty fast if you try to run. Take it from a deserter.
Never told me about that.
Nothing to be proud of. Tore out that chapter, crumpled it, swallowed it. Our sitch hairballed it back up. One thing I did learn, caked in blood and mud.
What was that?
After every carrot comes the stick. Allow me to illustrate. Every grunt gets a rifle, flak jacket, and a bunch of promises. Comes a time you're out of ammo, Kevlar's tattered cardboard. And what's left of the promises?
Fuck all, I'm guessing.
Exactly. And that's when they reach for the stick they call values. Getting shelled in your dugout, chooms are taking refreshing phosphorus showers, and some officers ranting about loyalty and duty. The moment you stop shitting carrots and they wave the value stick, fucking run, rabbit. Run.
Sounds like you got some shit to work through. Gotta face your demons sometime, Johnny.
Didn't actually have a problem with them. Till now. Politicians, military runners, intelligence operatives, Colonel Hansen for dessert. All the rotten fish in one fucking barrel, this Dogtown.
Don't turn around. Eyes on the court. Hands.
Initially, my favourite Johnny Silverhand line in the whole game happens here.
Johnny, who the hell's breathing down my neck?
How the fuck should I know? Only see what you see.
I see you.
Reed is a no-nonsense covert agent. Having spent the last 7 years trapped in Dogtown undercover, he's got a chip on his shoulder in regard to Myers after he'd been left to Arasaka, who had tried to assassinate him after the war. While he holds the president responsible for what he went through, his loyalties lie to the nation first. He's also connected to Songbird, having recruited her into the FIA back in the day, so he reluctantly agrees to help Myers out of Dogtown and find what happened to Songbird after communications were lost with her. Reed and V can't do this alone though. They need some help from one of Reed's agents who's still undercover in Dogtown. Alex's cover story has her running the Moth Bar in the Longshore Stacks market. She spent the last 7 years thinking she's trapped in Dogtown, thinking Arasaka had killed Reed, and just waiting for a way out of Night City. So, unsurprisingly, she's less than happy when Reed walks through the front door of her bar.
Oh, hell no.
I'm looking for an Alex.
Like fuck you are.
So she not here?
You're on the awfully short list of folks we just don't serve here. Turn the fuck around and get
I'll
out.
have a gin and tonic. Make it a double. She's with me.
You've got some balls.
However, she does have some seriously impressive disguise tech that V's going to make use of later. Alex wants out. She wants a spy's retirement in a sunny, beautiful place far away from the NUSA. And honestly, can you blame her? 7 years stuck by herself in a slum ruled over by an erratic warlord will make anyone yearn for the shores of the Mediterranean. So with Reed's assurances that this one last mission will be her ticket out of Night City, she agrees to join up, although she does have some choice words for V about Reed.
Tell me you believe in coincidences? Or, fuck it, fate? 'Cause plug the same variables into an equation, and surprise! Gonna get the same fucking result. Shit in, shit out. Well, you and that hangdog Judas are in luck. 'Cause I got a nasty habit of repeating the same gonk mistakes.
As we leave the bar to start our investigation, we have a moment with Johnny, and we come to my favourite part of Phantom Liberty.
Yeah, something special about it.
Fitting, isn't it? How the prettiest thing here in Dogshit Town is a monument to the dead? Still don't get this gonk affinity for symbols and empty gestures.
Come on. Would've lit one for you if I wasn't fresh out just now.
Shit, maybe I am as sentimental as everyone else. When I see those two, Reed, Alex, went through something similar myself.
Got a bond, two of them. Took maybe 4 minutes and they buried the hatchet.
See it clear as day. Any shred of friendship they've got left will fizzle out. Not right now, but soon. Could have spilled the truth years ago, stayed chooms. But no, stubborn old Reed had his orders.
Not mutually exclusive. Friendship and duty.
Matter of fact, they are. Had good reasons to fly the army coup. Think, How many times you willing to get burned before you stop trusting someone?
Might have a point, Johnny.
Replace someone with country or corp. How many times you gotta take a bullet for these motherfuckers in the name of empty promises? Chew on that when you look at those two.
While I love the main game, one of my biggest issues with Cyberpunk 2077 was Johnny. After Keanu Reeves was revealed as the actor playing him in that viral, breathtaking moment,
of being there, of walking the streets of the future, is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're breathtaking.
I love you, Metro Man. And I love you, random citizen.
he became the face of the game. The marketing for it became heavily focused on Johnny Silverhand and his Hollywood face, which, given Johnny's character, you have to find a little ironic. His line from the reveal trailer,
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
immediately became iconic despite not actually featuring in the game. CDPR placed a lot of expectation on Johnny as the companion for the player through the game, and Keanu Reeves was put dead center in the spotlight for it, overshadowing the two actors who portray V, Gavin Dre and Cherami Lee. If you haven't played the game, first of all, what are you doing here? Go and play it. But if you haven't, Johnny appears after the prologue, following V and Jackie Wells' botched heist at Konpeki Plaza. Whilst trying to escape with an experimental Arasaka tech chip known as the Relic, shit goes sideways. The protective case for the chip is damaged and Jackie is mortally wounded. To try and save the job, V places the chip in her head and heads to the fixer who hired them, Dexter Deshawn. He's freaking out about the job going south, the murder of the head of Arasaka and one of the most powerful corporate leaders in the world, Saburo Arasaka, by his son. Yeah, a lot happens in this mission, and in an effort to tie up loose ends, he shoots V in the head. Nice. But this is where the magic of the Relic comes to pass. The Relic contains an engram of Johnny's personality, captured after he was imprisoned by Arasaka in 2023 following his bombing of Arasaka Tower. How evil a corp is Arasaka? Well, they didn't kill Johnny, they kept him in a digital purgatory for 50 years, letting the world forget about him and his band Samurai, whilst he existed in a state of endless nothing. As V ostensibly dies from a small caliber bullet to the brain, the Relic starts its work, repairing her grey matter and healing her from the fatal wound. But it has an unintended side effect. I'll let Ripper Doc Extraordinaire Vic explain it.
You want the long story or the short?
Don't omit a thing. Not one D.
Okay. There is a construct, a psyche on the chip, that of Johnny Silverhand. You jacked it in your chip slot. Nothing happened, right? Until you died.
Bullet in the head from Dexter Deshawn. How do you come back from something like that?
Low caliber. You lucked out. Not least thanks to another poor decision by Mr. Deshawn. The nanites off the chip started fixing the damage. Then they took your hand and coaxed you off the path toward the light.
People don't just die and then get up like nothing happened.
Used to be true. Now it's only if they don't have a classified piece of corpo tech primed to resurrect them.
What about me? My psyche? I make it back from the other side and what? I'm supposed to pretend change is normal?
Ask the Arasaka engineers who built the thing. All I know is your mind's gonna go. And it won't be pretty. From the biochip's perspective, your brain cells are a tumor that needs to be scooped out, while your body's an empty shell to hold the construct.
So this fucking terrorist wants to wipe me and take my place, take my body.
It's not willful on his part, it's automatic, inevitable, and neither of you can stop it.
Arasaka designed the Relic to create digital immortality, to allow for someone's personality to be transferred to a new body after their death. But it wasn't designed to work with an existing consciousness in the host body, so it's slowly erasing V, trying to overwrite her personality with Johnny's. It's subtle, and it's insipid, and by the end of the game you start to lose track of which decisions offered to you are purely V's or ones Johnny would have made. But despite him being such a pivotal part of V's second chance at life, I always felt that Johnny wasn't a particularly good character. And I'm not talking in terms of his morals. Once Johnny has gotten over his desire to immediately kill V and he decides to work with her, he spends most of the game appearing randomly during cutscenes and dialogue to offer colour commentary. He rarely offers insight beyond being snarky, often just insulting whoever V is talking to, or, more often than not, just flat out insulting V.
Know who they are, who the woman is? Any idea how we find them?
Fuck, V. I've been dead the last half-century. Sorry if I'm unable to hand you all the answers on a chrome fucking platter when you snap your fingers.
We have a couple of intermission chapters where we actually play as Johnny during his memories back in 2023. The first of these chapters shows him on his final night, bombing the Arasaka Tower and then being captured by Adam Smasher and ultimately coming face to face with Saburo Arasaka before he's placed into the relic. The second one takes place before the bombing, showing the real reason for the attack. While it's dressed up as a revolutionary movement, a punk act against a corporate monster, for Johnny it comes back to a woman, Alt Cunningham. Their volatile relationship is cut short when she's taken by some Arasaka goons. She's a pro net runner, one of the most skilled people to ever cross the net, and Arasaka wants to use her. They capture her and force her to do their digital bidding, but she escapes from them, her consciousness running beyond the black wall. I'll explain what that is later. Johnny's motivation as he exists in V's head is to free Alt from the net, to save her 50 years after he failed to rescue her in the first place. Oh, and get some revenge on Arasaka. And Adam Smasher. He doesn't want much, does he? But for the most part we don't learn a lot about Johnny. He mostly exists to push V forward in her quest, and, by extension, his own. It's not until the third act of the game that he actually gets reflective. But even then he starts asking V if he can take over her body to do things like get Samurai back together for one last show, or to go on a movie date with Rogue. Even at his most compliant with V, his motivations remain completely selfish. At the end of the main game is the only point in my eyes that Johnny becomes more focused on V's well-being without considering how it can benefit him. The player is given several options on how to end the game, including flat out committing suicide or siding with Arasaka. Depending on how many side quests you've done, one of the options is also to allow Johnny to take over V, erasing her and leading the assault on Arasaka without backup. Actually, while I'm on about it, not one of the endings in Cyberpunk 2077 felt satisfying to me. The assault on Arasaka is a fun and intense mission, ending with taking down Adam Smasher in a ludicrous boss fight, but it's the binary choice that sticks in my craw. You see, no matter which ending you take, V doesn't survive. There are three ways Alt Cunningham can help V. Either you get into the Mikoshi and allow Johnny to take over as above, erasing V and allowing Johnny to take over her body and continue living. V can leave her body and become a legend, effectively dying as her consciousness and Johnny's are pulled into cyberspace to live in the net, or Alt can remove Johnny's consciousness from the relic but at the cost of V's lifespan. V gets to live without Johnny in her head, but she suffered so much brain damage from the relic being deactivated she only has 6 months left to live. There are no happy endings in Night City. Except the ones you pay for. It's frustrating when you invest so much time into V that there isn't a path to keep her alive. Every single ending available to the player, even the secret one, is some form of a tragedy with control of her destiny taken away from her. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent, back to Johnny. In Phantom Liberty we see a different Johnny, a more subdued Johnny. After V joins the FIA for her mission, Johnny opens up about his past. As a kid he joined Militech. He was on the front lines over the turn of the millennium and he came back a changed man. The horrors of war affected him badly, forming his worldview and his hatred of the corporations. He saw his fellow man reduced to cannon fodder in front of his eyes. His friends died. He almost died. He deserted from his unit when he was injured in combat and returned to the NUS with a new anger and a new fire inside of him. Robert John Linder died on the battlefield. Johnny Silverhand returned to the real world. It's a fascinating insight into his character. He spends the main game filled with bravado, sarcasm and hatred. And while that's all still there when he's talking about his past, there's a vulnerability to him, a pain that wasn't present before. He identifies with Songbird, another person who was lied to and drawn into the maw of the military-industrial machine to deal death and destruction all in the name of some rich person's profit. Skipping ahead in the story slightly, there's a moment I want to highlight from Johnny. We'll get to the context of it a little later, but essentially right before you have to make a critical choice in siding with Reed or rescuing Songbird once and for all, Reed sent you to a Ripper Dock to have some custom chrome fitted to allow you to pull off a mission. Johnny has been upfront with how little he trusts Reed through the entire story. Spies are spies and you cannot trust them to be straight with you. When V asks Johnny what he'd do in a place, he says this.
Reed or Songbird? What would you do in my shoes, Johnny?
I am in your shoes, dumbass. For every gonk choice you make. But I can't do dick. But honest to God, V, not fucking around? I don't know. Got no goddamn clue.
This is such a brilliant character moment for him. We see Johnny a lot with his sunglasses off throughout the game, but usually across a room. By taking off his glasses and coming so close to V and saying that he really doesn't know what to do here, he's displaying his fear and vulnerability. Johnny knows the stakes of what V is being pushed to do, and in a moment of pragmatism, even he can't work out a way forward any easier than V can. We get one more moment with Johnny like this at the end of the DLC, but I'll talk about that when we get there. I can't express how refreshing it is to see this side of Johnny. In Phantom Liberty, CDPR have added enough pathos to him that he becomes a well-rounded character. The player learns so much about him that, in my opinion, he finally makes sense. He stops being an angry arsehole who bought into his own rockstar hype, and instead you see how he became like that. The pain he suffered in the army, the way his hatred for the corporations developed, and his distrust of any and all authority figures all the way up to the White House. The backstory we get from the DLC contextualizes his actions towards Arasaka after they take Alt from him, the final straw in a life where he's been on the receiving end of corpo crimes against humanity. Though dropping a nuke? Probably still a slight overreaction. Though it's kinda hard to disagree with Johnny when you know more about it. It wouldn't be a spy caper without a jaunt to a casino, would it? Through some sleuthing, V, Reed and Alex determine that Songbird has been taken to the Black Sapphire, Kurt Hansen's fortress in the middle of Dogtown. The mission is straightforward. Swim through some flooded tunnels, break into the core of the building, work our way up to the party, then find Songbird. Quick mission, in and out in 20 minutes, right? Hansen is throwing a shindig in his casino at the top floor of the Black Sapphire. This is where he meets with Night City's super wealthy or super powerful residents and conducts his business. And what is his business? Well, he's an arms dealer primarily. Because Dogtown sits independent of Night City and its corporate council, Hansen can do pretty much whatever he wants with little to no repercussions. So he sells arms to powerful people around the world, he launders money in and out of Night City, and he makes deals with the chief of the NCPD to keep them sweet. Corruption through and through. You do well in the Tory party. For me, this is Phantom Liberty at the peak of its powers. This is probably the longest mission in the DLC, filled with different gameplay styles, environments and challenges to overcome. For this mission, Alex gives you the iconic weapon Her Majesty, a silenced pistol that hits like a truck and is a nice little nod to James Bond, or at least that's how I'm reading it. I've done this mission 3 times by this point, and every time I try to stealth the opening areas. It feels right to be sneaky and quiet. Although this time I do screw it up a little bit. Reed meets us halfway up the tower and we get a fun take on an escort mission. Hansen, in his paranoia, has sniper turrets set up on the inside of his building. Though given what we are doing, maybe it's just prudent planning. Anyway, V takes control of one of these sniper turrets and we have to move Reed safely around the building until we can meet up. It's entirely possible to do this without being spotted. I get spotted. I'm a proper good spy, me. While V has been working her way up the tower, Reed has been securing our exit as well as bringing our outfits for the party we're crashing, and will you look at her? Fancy as fuck! After spending so long in the ruined, run-down lower levels of Dogtown, the casino in the Black Sapphire is a dizzying display of avarice. The huge space is dripping with wealth. Anyone who's anyone in Night City is at this party, be they influencer, celebrity, politician or warlord. With a glass of champagne in hand, V can get to work, observing the patrons, eavesdropping on powerful conversations and locating Songbird. We get our first sighting of Kurt Hansen here, sitting in a booth negotiating a deal, surrounded by bar guest goons. The calmness of the scene stands out. We've been conditioned through video games to believe that warlords are either raving psychopaths or flamboyant and over-the-top demagogues, so seeing Hansen looking like a normal military man is actually notable. Up on the veranda is where we'll find Song. She's alive and well, but she's trapped. We talk openly with Songbird while she whispers to us via the relic. The long and short of it is that Hansen wants to use Songbird for her particular set of skills to extract a piece of tech called the Neural Matrix, a piece of Militech hardware unearthed from a secret Sinosure facility beneath Dogtown. The Neural Matrix is what will allow Songbird and specialised surgeons to create a cure for herself and V, so the plan is to double-cross Hansen and take it from him. I want you to take a moment and look at Songbird here as V talks to her. Everyone we meet in Cyberpunk has cyberware. We don't meet a single person who doesn't have at least some kind of chrome in them. But Songbird is different. There's little left of her that is human. In fact, it's mostly just her face and chest that hasn't been fully replaced. Cyberpunk is filled with themes of transhumanism, of how far people are willing to go to modify their bodies, but rarely do we see someone so augmented as this. The back of her head is entirely metal. Her back, shoulders, legs and arms have all been replaced. Songbird has sacrificed her entire body for the NUSA and to become one of the best netrunners in the world. In fact, the only person we meet in the game who was more of a cyborg than Song is Adam Smasher himself, and that's because he got blown up at Arasaka Tower. With Songbird's relative safety confirmed, V and Reed can move on to the second part of the plan. We already know that Songbird will be working with a pair of hotshot netrunners as part of her job to deactivate the neural matrix for Hansen. If we're going to stand any chance of getting close to him and saving Songbird, these two pieces need to be taken off the chessboard. Aurore and Aymeric Cassel are notorious cybercriminals from France who have previously worked on extracting Cynosure gear for Militech, so Hansen has paid a lot of eddies for them to come to Dogtown to retrieve the neural matrix. Remember that fancy face cloaking technology Alex had when we first met her? We're getting set up for it now. We join the Cassels at the roulette table to try and gain a behavioural imprint of them both for Alex. This involves asking them questions, prodding them for their most natural answers and reactions, and, if you fancy it, a little flirting.
Can't help feeling I interrupted something when I walked up.
Do not worry yourself about this.
Oh, come. V is just being cordial. N'est-ce pas, V? You weren't snooping just now, were you?
Even. Black.
The pair complement each other nicely. Aurore is vivacious, flirtatious, and quite the hedonist. Aymeric is cautious, reserved, and suspicious of V almost immediately. But their common personality trait, and their weakness, is their ego. Some compliments, paying some interest in their work and their crimes pays off and the pair open up. And it all comes down to one final spin of the wheel. Win or lose, you get what you need from them.
Black's my choice.
We are red, as our hair, a luscious color. Allez!
Even. Black.
Putain de merde!
Before we can leave though, we get our first meeting with Kurt Hansen himself. He's made Reed, who has been taken and removed from the party. Hansen knows that V's working for the FIA. He has his own contacts within the administration. He speaks in a quiet, intimidating tone, carefully choosing each word as he reveals what he knows.
You're not about to kill us. Got it right?
To be honest, I got tired of the media circus. All the allegations thrown in my face. The bullshit propaganda. Luckily, we can put all that behind us now.
That being said, like a classic Bond villain, Hansen is full of himself and takes this opportunity to monologue.
Your little bird came to me on her own, though. She was tired of breaking international laws on the president's whim. She simply had to run away. Breaching the Black Wall, jeopardizing the net, all humankind's safety, in fact, for personal gain? I wonder what Netwatch would say. Pass it on to President Myers. Also tell her, her toy of mass destruction is my friend now. And she should get the fuck out of my backyard, or the world will learn about her games.
He's all willing to tell V what President Myers has been using Songbird for, breaching the Black Wall. We're going to need a little context here. I've mentioned the Black Wall a few times so far without really discussing what it is. The Black Wall is a defense system that protects the net from the digital monstrosities that remain from the old internet. At some point in Cyberpunk's history, the net became invested with rogue AI constructs. These are dangerous programs unleashed by governments, hackers, and digital terrorists that pose threats to modern society. The Black Wall was created to keep the world safe from these relics of the past. The Black Wall is constructed in such a way that breaching it in either direction is nearly impossible, with only a handful of exceptionally skilled netrunners ever managing to do it, and only 2 that V knows of ever surviving it. The first was Johnny's girlfriend, Ol Cunningham, who fled beyond the Black Wall to escape the clutches of Arasaka. She gave up her humanity to live as a construct, rather than acquiesce to their whims. The other is Songbird. President Myers had tasked Songbird with regularly breaching the Black Wall to make use of some of these rogue AIs to advance the NUSA's agenda. This in itself was an obscenely illegal act by the President, but Songbird went along with it out of naivety and belief that Myers was her friend. However, these repeated jaunts into the old net resulted in Songbird being infected by these AIs and contracting a degenerative AI sickness, similar to what V is suffering from with the Relic, hence why our objectives are aligned. Hansen is ready and willing to leak this information to the world if Myers doesn't back off. He also tells us it was Songbird who hacked Space Force 1 in the first place, and that Songbird had been working with him all along. And with that, he ejects V and Reed to the street. Time to put the next plan in motion. Oh, and this mission is called You Know My Name, a nod to my favourite James Bond theme by Chris Cornell from 2006's Casino Royale. Nice touch, CDPR. Now we're all ready to go fuck some shit up, so it's time to...
We need to analyze the data from Songbird. Might take a day or two.
Wait?
Preem.
What?
Open comms line then?
Yeah, one of my least favourite parts of Cyberpunk in general, but especially with Phantom Liberty, is the amount of times that you complete an excellent main story mission, and just as you're excited to see what happens next, you're told to wait for someone's call in a few days. It drives me absolutely batty. I've just experienced one of the best spycraft missions in any RPG I've ever played, and now I have to piss about doing side quests for a few hours until enough time has passed for Reed to give us a ring? Bastard! Anyway, Reed will eventually call and give us instructions for the next mission. We're going to infiltrate Hansen's inner circle using the behavioural imprints captured from the Cassell twins, but first V needs a chrome upgrade to use them. This is where we have that conversation with Johnny I mentioned earlier, setting up a big choice we're about to make. The next step to set up this caper involves kidnapping the Cassell twins. After finding their ride, V hides in the boot and eavesdrops on them, gaining some extra valuable tidbits of their personalities and how they speak to one another.
Moins que ce soit cette putain de gueule de bois. Oh, ça tourne de partout, dans tous les sens.
T'en penses quoi? De Hansen, je veux dire.
Okay, V, take control.
Hold on. Eavesdropping a bit. Could get interesting.
Oh, il a foutu le feu au cul de tout le monde quand il a abattu cet avion.
Le risque est élevé, oui. Mais ce travail paie bien. On fait notre part. Ensuite, on disparaît.
Ah, oh, putain de gueule de bois de sa mère.
Then we take over their car and drive them to a garage where Reed and Alex summarily execute them.
Whoa. What in the fuck? Fuck! You wiped them!
What'd you think we'd do? Bind their hands with duct tape, shove socks in their mouths, and wait for them to wriggle free and call for help? This ain't no game, V. It's a simple choice. Them or us. I chose us.
Bit much, Solomon. Bit much. We're going to use V's new chrome and the behavioural imprints to literally become them for the purposes of this mission. Physically, we get fantastic likenesses, but this is all about the performance. I hope you were paying attention to the things they said at the casino. Hansen operates his business from the Dogtown Stadium. This is where he sells arms and weapons of war to anyone with money, and it's where Songbird has been working to extract the neural matrix. Hansen's operation is impressive, and we get to see the full scale of the weapons he can build. Remember that giant battle walker V and Myers fought in the intro? Yeah, this is where they come from. While Song finishes preparing the device, V and Alex gets a one-on-one time with Hansen. This is where we need to play the part, answering the questions he already knows the answers to correctly, so as not to raise suspicion. It's actually surprisingly tense, especially if you're an idiot like me who blithely answered a question wrong for no good reason. Thankfully you won't fail if you get one of them wrong. Once you've played the convincing Cassell twin, you're taken to help Songbird with the extraction of the neural matrix. It's a delicate operation that is dangerous for Songbird to do, but when it's free, that's when part 2 of the plan kicks into gear. It's also where we get to make our choice. Do we help Songbird escape and have a chance of being cured of the relic? Or do we stick with Reed's plan to bring Songbird in to answer for her treasonous act of attacking the president and hope the NUSA can cure V? Now I always play V as really fucking wary of corporations and the government, so of course I don't trust Reed as far as I can throw him. I side with Songbird.
I'm with you, Somi.
Look toward Alex. Wait for Kurt to go down.
Everything all right? You look like shit.
Nice to hear. Running 3 things at once here. You do 1. Keep your eyes on Kurt.
Can do. What then?
We run. Nearly have the Matrix. Breaching stadium defenses now. It's a lot. Had to reach past the black wall.
Wait, you mean to say, like, the whole stadium?
Cutting off the lab now. Carving a path out of here for us. Defense systems are nearly primed to turn on Kurt's forces. Let Alex know.
Target down.
It's done. Stadium defenses. Hostile and online.
Hey, status. Everything all right?
Somi, you okay? What's wrong?
The Matrix, the stadium, the black wall. Just lost control for a sec. But, yeah, I'm okay now.
With this choice, Alex will kill Hansen and all hell will break loose. As a side note, if you choose to side with Reed, Alex will be killed by Hansen. But we are going down the path of helping Songbird. Extracting the neural matrix seriously injures her, so she's weakened for our escape. We also don't have all of our weapons, so for a while we need to improvise. Thank God for quick hacks. After killing enough soldiers to have a material impact on Militech's share price, we emerge from Dogtown and for now, go our separate ways. Songbird needs to prepare and recover for the final parts of the plan, so we have some time to kill. Reed's probably not likely to answer our texts anytime soon, but this gives V time to enjoy some political influencing. Throughout V's time in Dogtown, she will be completing gigs for a mysterious fixer known as Mr. Hands. He's a smooth-talking silver fox who has aspirations beyond just making money via petty crime. He has designs on Dogtown.
Ah, if it isn't V. V, my favorite merc. Splendid. What you completed for me significantly shifted the playing field vis-a-vis Hansen. Excellent work, precisely as requested.
His business relies on stability, and with Hansen taking the forever nap, there's now a power vacuum in his operation and several actors with aspirations pushing for the top spot.
I lacked the time to brew tea. My apologies.
School? Not here for tea. What's so urgent?
No ordinary job, to be sure. Dogtown's future hangs in the balance. Kurt Hansen, a man of many hats. A criminal, dog of war. To mine eye, an entrepreneur. And business suffocates in a vacuum. Vultures circle the colonel's corpse already. The enterprise he built must choose a new leader. We will make certain they choose correctly.
Without Hansen's iron grip, Dogtown is at risk of its own mini-civil war, and as far as Mr. Hands is concerned, that's bad for business. Hands has identified that there are two candidates with reasonable chances of leading Barghest. First of all, Hansen's right-hand man, Bennett. He's no Kurt Hansen, but he has combat experience and he's been loyal to a fault, and he knows how to command Barghest. The other man is named Yago, who is several rungs lower on the totem pole in Hansen's organisation. He's not much better than a glorified accountant, but he has one of the local gangs, the Voodoo Boys, on his side, and he's prepared to go to war to seize power. Hands would prefer Bennett, to keep as close to the status quo as possible. He leaves it with V's gift to crown the new leader if she sees something in Yago that would lift him above Bennett. To do this, we're going in disguise again. The Cuban Mafia were one of the few organisations that Hansen had a healthy fear of. We don't learn much about them, but we know that they're a brutal, vicious organisation and they have a track record of assassinating anyone they feel has wronged them. One of their assassins has a reputation that strikes fear into even the meatiest of mercenaries, Aguilar. They say every time a cigar is lit in Cuba, Aguilar takes a life. Somehow, we'll never know how, but somehow, Hands has her behavioural imprint, so V gets to dress up as her and put the shits up two potential warlords. First, Yago. He's meeting with the VDBs to plan his move until Aguilar arrives. The gang members in Yago's bodyguard don't live long, and we get to intimidate Yago in the most fun way possible.
Oh shit. No.
You... So the legends are true. Point taken. I'll back down.
Yago does let slip that Bennett is in Arasaka's pocket though. If Bennett takes control, then Arasaka will ultimately own Dogtown and strip it of its independence. So we need to pay him a visit too and have him learn what it is to fear Aguilar.
I think we're on the same page. They agreed to back me. 2 unmarked tactical units in Dogtown.
Gordon, let's roll. But what a grind. Japanese suits have their neckties tied so fucking tight. Wait, who? Oh fuck, Aguilar!
Was it good, your meeting? The one I was not supposed to know about?
Aguilar, please, listen to me. I know what this must look like. This fuckhead Yago.
Your accountant.
He's trying to cut me out. Arasaka's promised to have my back.
Oh, Bennett. What little regard you have for your own life.
You won't let it go, is that it? Well, fine. Your legend ends here! Enough!
Do you want the throne? It is mine to give, but to a soldier, not a corporate puppet. If I see even one Arasaka shadow in Dogtown, I will return and find you. But without my friendly demeanor. Is that clear?
Yes, Aguilar! Understood.
Once they're both suitably intimidated, the last step is to attend Hansen's funeral and crown a leader. I love this whole sequence. People legitimately fear Aguilar, and just walking into the front door of the Black Sapphire and watching folks make hasty exits or give us a wide berth is really funny to me. There's also the fun thought that we had a hand in Hansen's death and we're the ones crowning his replacement. It's all deeply satisfying. But with Bennett crowned the leader, we bid farewell to Aguilar and Hans has secured his business for years to come. Something tells me he's going to own Dogtown before long. I wholeheartedly recommend seeing all of Mr. Hans' gigs and quests through to completion. For a start, he's a fascinating character and one of the few fixers in Night City who's willing to be open with V about his intentions and his moves. Most of the other fixers, whilst friendly to V, will keep her at an arm's length. But Hans brings her into his machinations, and some of his gigs are surprisingly heartfelt, like liberating a Ripperdoc clinic in a church from scavs who have blockaded it, resulting in saving the lives of desperately sick patients, or ending the operations of a child trafficking ring under Dogtown where kids are forcibly augmented with chrome to become sports prodigies. Yeah, that one's pretty messed up. It's also weirdly the only place you'll encounter children in Night City, which I thought was pretty odd. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is Hans' questline is unique amongst the fixers as you're affecting real change across Dogtown. Sure, it's real change in Hans' favour, but these aren't throwaway busywork quests. They tie into the main narrative of the DLC in a meaningful way, and also display a great deal of narrative depth. Hans himself has a great deal of affection for Dogtown, and he genuinely wants to see it thrive. The work you do for him feels like the first steps in a direction that could really improve the lives of those who live there. With Dogtown's future secured, for now, all that's left to do is to get Songbird to safety. That's no mean feat. I need to scroll back a little before we get to the ending. After the mission in the Black Sapphire, whilst preparations are underway to kidnap the Netrunners, Songbird reaches out and invites V to talk. She meets us in a spot overlooking the Black Sapphire, a place where Dogtown residents come to talk, to enjoy each other's company, and to live as an actual community. Songbird used to come here when she was stationed in Dogtown. This is where we find out why she did what she did, why she reached out to Hansen, and why she conspired to bring down Space Force 1.
So what was your plan?
For you to rescue Myers while I secured the AI Matrix, and for us to run, all before Kurt caught on. Now Hansen's changed the terms of our deal. They'll make him answer for the attack. He knows that, so he's covering his ass. The one thing he doesn't know is what's on the Cynosure mainframe. He's hoping it's data he can use as leverage against the NUS. Says that's my ticket to freedom, but as soon as he gets his hands on it, I'm dead. I just know it.
Unfortunately, her naivety continues to show, because she didn't expect Hansen to try and kill the president. She expected to bring the plane down safely and to escape. She wanted to get free from Myers and to get free from the FIA so she could steal the neural matrix and cure herself of the AI infections. If she hadn't, she knew that Myers would continue using her as a weapon until the infections killed her. She would be nothing more than a tool for the NUSA, all of her humanity stripped away to further the agenda of a corrupt government. It's hard not to sympathise with her. She's being used and is close to being discarded as soon as she becomes too sick to function. It's no life. It's death by 1,000 cuts at the whims and ambitions of a politician that Songbird had considered a friend. She longs for the simpler life she had before she was recruited, back when she lived in Brooklyn. Before the government work, before breaching the Black Wall, before being wrapped up in such a horrific existence. But she also did commit treason by bargaining with Kurt Hansen and attacking the president, no matter what her intentions were. She's a person of multitudes and a shining beacon to the truth of Night City, that there are no heroes, no kings or queens, just survivors. And Songbird is barely surviving. When the time comes, after waiting, again, we meet Songbird in a van back in Night City proper. She's in a terrible way. At this point she's dying, and she's dying fast. She's booked her way out of Night City into the AI lab on the moon, so the mission is to get her through the NCX spaceport and onto the rocket. I'm not even going to say simple right, because you know it's not going to be. Songbird isn't strong enough to make her way through the terminal, and even if she was, the FIA have tracked V to the spaceport via the probe she had installed to cosplay as one of the Cassels, so the plan is to get through check-in and head to the Tycho terminal, which is currently under renovation and should, in principle, be safe to work through. Cue some sneaky, and this time I don't fuck it up! Yay me! Once we have Songbird up on the roof and V's had a massive relic malfunction, we get company. The worst kind of company. The feds. The FIA have arrived and they're tooled up to the teeth. Elite Black Ops soldiers, helicopters, Solomon Reed, and the goddamn president of the NUSA herself. While sneaking through some vents, we get to listen into Myers tearing Reed a new one for letting Songbird slip through his fingers. And we get to witness Myers' true feelings.
Does orbital layer know the stakes?
They triggered the alarm but failed to find V.
And our agents?
Cover's been blown on a handful. OA won't get a word out of them. I guarantee it. Those still undercover are looking for Songbird.
We'll talk about operational errors later. Asking for help never was your strong suit. So I decided for you and brought support.
I have everything under control.
No, Saul. You lost control way back. It's time you acknowledge that.
Ah, Rosalind Myers. Her true face. Fuck the one on her billboards.
I get that you want to protect her. But your duty, first and foremost, is to your country.
Songbird made a choice. Now she needs to learn what the consequences are.
There's one more thing, Saul. The project she was part of stays well under wraps. None of it leaks.
This is bad. Really bad.
If our little bird lands in the wrong hands, I don't want to think what will happen.
All that. We're the only ones privy.
It would destroy the NUS. It's not a risk I'm willing to take.
We're on the same page. No risks. That's how it'll be.
Do you hear that?
Just so you know, this isn't any easier for me, Reed. I liked the girl, trusted her. But with some choices, there's no way back.
Choices? Yours or hers?
Say again?
You heard me. But no matter. I know what I have to do, and I'll do it.
I authorize you to take any and all necessary action. Just try not to shoot her in the head.
Might have expected as much.
Her ambition and protecting her reputation is paramount for her. She commissioned Songbird to commit scandalous crimes in the name of advancing her agenda, and now that So-Mi is in the wind, she's become a loose end that needs to be cut off. Her line at the end there, "Try not to shoot her in the head," is particularly chilling. Dead or alive, Myers intends to get everything from Songbird's cyberware and continue her work. And it's this line that makes me happy to betray this corrupt government. Fuck Myers! No matter what, we're never getting out of here without a fight. Myers' assault goons have opened fire on NCX's orbital air security squad, so when we get down to the terminal, we find ourselves in the middle of an intense firefight. We have to get through the terminal and the attached monorail station to make it to the shuttle. Time for a montage of violence. No matter how many goons V kills, there's always more, and by the end, Songbird and V are trapped in the monorail control tower with Maya's fucking helicopter blasting away at us. As one last Hail Mary, Songbird taps into the Black Wall, uploading one of the more destructive demons to herself and proxying it to V, and, well, this is what the Black Wall can do.
Always can use a proxy. Ready for this?
Fire it up.
Like feeling like a god for a few minutes and obliterating every piece of cyberware in the vicinity.
Song, you okay?
Let me help. Lean on me. Got a train to catch.
Fuck, that hurts.
It's God, I know, so me, but you killed it. Saved our asses.
V. You hear that?
It's the Black Wall. No fear, Song. Right here with you.
Songbird is nearly dead, but V gets her to the monorail and we have a moment of peace and reflection as we approach the shuttle. As she struggles to maintain consciousness, Song talks about her regrets, and she has a confession to make.
Song?
Reed's not the only one I've betrayed.
What do you mean, Song?
Neural Matrix V can only be used once.
Once? How so?
It's a captive AI from beyond the wall. Relies on continuous evolution to exist. I'll free it and end the process. It'll then execute my commands and disintegrate irretrievably.
Well, hang. What about me?
Not obvious. You'll fight on. Keep looking. You're stronger than I am, V. Stronger than anyone else I know.
Fuck me.
I think I'm gonna die soon. The regret wasn't honest with you. I'm sorry.
The neural matrix, the bargaining chip to get off this world, can only be used once. It's a rogue AI from beyond the Black Wall that has to exist in a state of constant evolution. It cannot be duplicated or copied. Once she gives it the instructions to cure her and freeze it, that's it, it'll be gone. Songbird will be cured, and V will not be. Johnny pops up for his usual pep talk about it now too.
Hot diggity fuck. Color me impressed. Bird took everyone for a ride. Myers, Hansen, Reed, you.
Not the first time somebody screwed me sideways. Still think I can walk, though.
Your attitude to what life sends your way. So touching sometimes. Woman did you hard and rough, though. Got the right to feel rage, want to rip her head off. But she stuck it out to the very end. That commands respect.
Fuck all that. Thing is, you and me are back at square one. Still have that problem. Finding some way to save ourselves.
Could always call Reed on the hollow.
Think he'd kill me.
Damn, globe-sized ego, V. You mean zilch to him. Just one person he's gunning for. Well, nice to drop in and shoot some shit, V. High time you woke her, though.
We've come this far, though. Even though Songbird has lied to us, put us through hell and got us caught in the middle of a deep state conspiracy, V, or at least my V, isn't a quitter, and we're seeing this through. Carrying Song's almost lifeless body to the shuttle, Reed steps out to the door and confronts us.
Stop there.
Look. Putting her down.
Go now. So, what do you want to do?
We both draw our weapons. Reed is adamant that only the FIA neurosurgeons at Langley can save Songbird, but we confront him with the orders from Myers. Undeterred, Reed will try to talk V around. He will try to bargain with V if you tell him that Songbird lied to you, offering to give you the cure in exchange for her. But can you trust the word of a spy? Telling him that Songbird isn't his to take, he'll draw his weapon and you need to put him down once and for all.
Not giving her up, Saul. No.
You had no choice. But your friend there will join Reed in the Beyond if you don't hurry your ass.
Gonna be okay. One last push. We're bound for the moon, Sony. Getting away from them all.
Once Songbird is safely on the ship, V and Johnny watch the launch, and we have what I believe to be the true culmination of Johnny Silverhand. Watch this.
Well, no turning back now.
Minus 60 seconds. RS-25, main engine ignition.
Here we go.
First time I've ever launched a spacecraft. You?
Same, man. Same.
T-minus 50 seconds. Solid propellant engines burning.
Whatever awaits her in orbit. Hope she ends up happy.
She's free. Slammed it home. She has just a bit of what I lacked entirely. Fucking luck.
Luck played no part in it, Johnny. You and her just wanted different things.
Really? So do tell. What was it I wanted so badly?
Plus, cheers. Did absolutely everything to please the crowd.
Nah. Maybe. Guess I could have done more. Been different. Maybe. Could also be I was convinced I couldn't make it out alive. And maybe, just maybe that chick had great follow-through to the fucking end. And I lacked that last ounce of determination. Dunno.
Well, at least you're being honest with yourself. That in itself's some version of freedom.
What do you say next? Be all you can be? Limitations are all in my head?
Just watch the show, Johnny.
T-0, liftoff.
all of his ego, all the quipping, insults and dickhead behaviour, Johnny has always just been playing to the audience. He admires Songbird not because of her rebellion, or for sticking it to the NUSA, but because she finished the job. She did what she needed to, and, with V's help, she got out. Johnny didn't have that. He didn't have the drive to finish the job. He was caught up in the attention and the adulation, but he couldn't save Alt. He couldn't save himself. He couldn't even destroy Arasaka. It was a suicide mission. He was on a path of self-destruction so steep he couldn't see a way to come out of it alive. And ultimately he didn't. Whether it was circumstance, bad luck, or a lack of that last shred of determination, Johnny didn't make it, where Songbird did. With a blast of fire, Songbird spreads her wings and takes flight. There's a wonderful sadness to this ending for Phantom Liberty, and if I'm honest, I think it's the best ending for V as a character, whether you play this expansion in the middle of your quest or at the end. If you give up Songbird to the FIA, when you reach the end of the main game, Reed will tell you they have a cure, and he will follow through on his word. V will be cured. But V will also stay in a 2-year coma, the world moving on from her friends moving on from her. She will have had all of her cyberware removed and never be able to use them again, ending her career as a mercenary. Worse though, Songbird will be cured of her AI sickness, but she will also become a slave to the NUSA, a permanent fixture in the net and beyond the Black Wall, doing Maya's bidding in secret, living a digital undeath like Alt Cunningham, but without any agency of her own. It's a horrific ending for Songbird. Helping Songbird is objectively the best ending on offer here. Even though she lies to V about the cure, she was an innocent person brought into a world she wasn't prepared for. Songbird was lied to, used, and ultimately considered disposable by those she believed cared for her well-being. Songbird's talent for net running became her undoing. The longer she stayed connected to the net, the more she hacked, the harder it was for her to break free. The same was true for Reed and Alex. The more they knew, the less likely they were able to be free. Their skills made them valuable to more powerful forces that would never let them go. And the longer each of them became a part of the FIA machine, the greater their disillusions became. Alex and Reed carved out frugal, miserable existences under the boot of a dictator, all in the name of duty, ready to drop everything they had built as their cover at a moment's notice. Songbird held onto the guilt of thinking she was responsible for Reed being killed for 7 years, whilst being attacked constantly by AIs beyond the Black Wall. All three of them lived tragic existences from the end of the Unification War until the point they met V. All any of them wanted was freedom, and even in her escape, Songbird probably isn't free. I didn't capture it in my footage this time, but there is a line of dialogue during the monorail trip to the space shuttle where V asks who is funding Songbird's escape. She mentions that she met with a man in a blue suit. A couple of times throughout the mission, you can see the strange man observing V and Songbird throughout the NCX terminal. There's nothing concrete in the game, but the community believes this to be Mr. Blue Eyes, the mysterious man that V meets in one of the endings of the main game, where she's sent into orbit to steal from a casino space station. He's also the man interfering with Jefferson Peralez's campaign to become Night City Mayor in the Dream On questline. There isn't much in the game about him in general, but one would suspect his intentions are not that pure for Songbird. Phantom Liberty recontextualizes a lot of Cyberpunk 2077. At the macro level, by taking V from her quest to find the cure for the relic and pushing her into a story with global consequences, V becomes a pivotal actor in geopolitics and the safety of the world, whether or not the world will ever recognise her for her sacrifices and actions. She's given a taster of a world even murkier than the corporate hellscape of Night City, a world where one mistake can result in the death of everything and everyone. But on a micro level, Phantom Liberty puts V in the middle of interpersonal dramas and forces her to choose. Whether she sides with Reed or Songbird, V has to make impossible decisions and play games with people's lives. This isn't normal merc work. This is not hitting the big leagues. This is a grimy, dirty situation that she is dragged into against her will that only gets messier the further she goes into it. And it's in this messiness that Phantom Liberty soars. V is so disconnected from the antagonist she encounters in the main campaign. The Arasaka siblings, Yorinobu and Hanako, and Adam Smasher, they all exist as abstract forces to be dealt with or aligned with as and when the narrative leads V there. In Phantom Liberty, your alliances are constantly shifting. Sure, you can absolutely be suspicious of Reed as soon as you encounter him, but when he opens his heart about the collapse of his Spec Ops unit or the colleagues he's lost along the years, you can't help but sympathise with them. When he bites back with President Myers, you want to cheer for him because who else speaks to the president like that? Part of that comes down to Idris Elba's stunning performance in the role. He treads a fine line between Reed being sympathetic and utterly hateful, whilst the player is never sure which version of Reed is the real one. It's a skillful performance from a fantastic actor who injects this complicated character with so much pathos. Then there's Alex. Throughout the story, she remains persistently angry with Reed. In the briefing cutscenes, you regularly walk in on Alex chewing him out or being cold towards him as he tries to make amends for his 7-year disappearance. She's hurt, she's scared, but she's working to escape. You can be a friend to her. You can be a shoulder for her to cry on, to drink with, and to dance with. After Reed's death, she'll get the order to take V out, but she won't do it. She gets her happy ending in Monaco. But then at what cost? She's the last member of her unit alive, at least as far as she's concerned anyway. The interplay between Songbird and Johnny is also something worthy of praise. By having Johnny take a back seat for a lot of the DLC, we get to experience this complicated story without his influence. There's not a lot of humour in this narrative, and, as I discussed, a lot of Johnny's interactions are played for laughs in the main game. Songbird is a deeply traumatic character, but her trauma mirrors Johnny's. They were both pulled into serving their country far too young, their bodies and minds were abused and broken by the time they came to realise what was going on, and they both act to tear down the structures that have harmed them. They are ultimately both terrorists, just with different delivery methods. Johnny dropped a nuke on a city, Songbird is a nuke. Their combined self-realisations at the spaceport frame their characters in different lights. Yes, Songbird is a liar and manipulative, but she's scared. She's dying of digital corruption and, like V, she'll do anything to survive. Johnny is already dead, but after 50 years in stasis in the relic, he finally has his redemption as he reckons with himself, his actions and his failures. Bravado means nothing if you can't finish the job. And what of V? Well, her path to becoming a legend continues. I think Johnny puts it best.
Need to shift focus now. To myself. My own path.
I'll say. Fucking with NUSA plans, launching a half-dead cyborg into orbit. Adds bricks to that edifice called legend. But clock's ticking, friend. You're dying. Gotta do something about it.
So wake up, samurai. We've got a city to burn. Thank you for joining me on this little jaunt back through Phantom Liberty. Cyberpunk 2077 is one of my favourite games of the last decade, and it was a joy to relive this expansion and make this video. That being said, this is the 5th version of this script I've written. I don't know why, but I just couldn't get the right angle for my thoughts on this game until I started the DLC, and then it just clicked. It's absolutely the best part of this game, and it's absolutely worth diving headfirst into. If you want to support me, channel subscriptions are now active. You can hit the join button and choose one of the 2 tiers available to backers, or you can head to my Patreon, patreon.com/gadgetongaming, and sign up for either tier there. There's also a free tier which is periodic updates on video progresses and my general musings on doing this YouTube thing. And if you're one of my higher tier backers, you'll see your name right about now. All of my captured Cyberpunk 2077 footage for this video, consisting of the opening 2 acts of the game and Phantom Liberty, are being uploaded to my second channel, Gadget on Gaming Footage, and they're free to use for your own projects. Just follow the link in the description. But with that, I'm going to get a burrito XXL, sip on a Jackie Wells cocktail, and hang with my tunes. I'll see you on the next one. Good night.